Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. Once again, this is 1 week later. We successfully did it. We came back 1 week. One less person, but we're back the following week. Jacob's internet's a little garbage, so he cannot make it to the recording session today. But next week, he should be here and we should be good to go. But again, with me, we have Alex Felidonis here, cutting out some time in his homework to talk about some topics to put on the YouTube. What's up, Alex? How's it going?
Horrible. Hey, we're here.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, I guess. But yeah, it'll be exciting. So the main things we had to talk about are a whole lot of nothing new in my life in this last week. But that's about it. There's the Spider-Man was all last week. It was the first full week of it being released, right? We'll talk about that first. And I don't have a PS4, so I couldn't play it, but I watched some streams, and it looks pretty dope. But you played it, you said earlier, for a while. What'd you think about it?
I really enjoyed it. I have not really played a Spider-Man game before, but from Jason's point of view, it was one of the best. I don't know, it was amazing. I felt the combat was smooth. It was a little bit hard to get used to because I'm used to just button mashing to like whole things. But once I started learning the strategy, and then I guess the only other game I played because I haven't played that many games in my life. It seemed like kind of an Assassin's Creed feel, just like especially Brotherhood. I guess that was the one I got furthest in. With it, like, because you have to go around and like there's a ton of collectibles and like ton of just little objectives like crime things and like collecting backpacks, chasing birds. All of that gives you like certain tokens to upgrade your gear. And the majority of my time, I put about like 12 to 14 hours into it. I did collecting everything, so I have like 40% of the game done, but I'm only like 25%.
Nice. Yeah, it looked like almost closer to, I don't know if you played any of the Batman games. I don't even know who made those, but the Arkham series, those three, they look very similar to those. I don't know. I haven't played the Batmans in forever, and I haven't played Spider-Man, but it had a similar feel to at least the fighting mechanics and the kind of the fluidity and the size of the whole thing. It just reminded me of a Batman game, but you're being Spider-Man, which is just cooler in my opinion. But it looked pretty dope, and from the first 3 hours of gameplay that I watched, it looked like a lot of fun, and a lot of people were having fun with it. So I think it was who made it? I don't remember. Insomniac, maybe. Yeah, they hit it. They did a good job. They did the Spider-Man justice. It's been a while. I don't know how long it's been since the last Spider-Man, or even the last good Spider-Man. We'll have to look that up, but I know it's been a while anyways since it's been good. And then off the back of the Spider-Man movies and Avengers Infinity War coming out, they did a pretty good job. They didn't let anybody down, I don't think. A lot of people, I haven't seen a lot of hate for it, and I don't know where the setting is in the Spider-Man universe or how canon it is to the MCU or anything like that, or if it's just a separate storyline that does its own thing. I don't know. I haven't looked at that or watched enough of the story to know. I'm assuming it's a one-off from the current story of Spider-Man that we know, but I don't know enough about old Spider-Man to tell you which way it really goes, but it's somewhere in the universe. But it looks like it's true to Spider-Man. It's not like gimmicky or some new story or whatever. It looks like it's pretty linear, if you understand.
One thing I really appreciate is that Spider-Man doesn't really kill people. But when you kick people off the building, I had the privilege of seeing this. Like I was on a slanted triangle building, so I kicked someone off. I shot no webs at them. They like fell off and then immediately stuck to the side of the building with a web, which I guess keeps that, no.
So they had the forethought to put that in there, even if nobody would ever see it. They still put in the fact that he didn't actually kick the guy off the building. So it fits his character.
Yeah, that was. I think. Yeah, it's very small, and
Interesting.
I appreciated that.
Yeah, I was
I
watching
thought that was
people do
really
that. I was
cool.
like, they're just flying off of buildings and getting smashed into things. Like, I feel like a couple of these people would be dead, but I know that it's not his primary objective to just not kill people, but at the same time, it's pretty hard to kick somebody hard enough to knock them out, but make it look like they're not dead at the same time. So I can understand from
Hmm.
the building of a game in that sense that it's a little hard to do, but that's pretty impressive. I'm happy that they did that. Because Batman, the first Batman was pretty skeptical of if he was just murdering people because he was hitting them pretty hard and he was throwing people around and it looked like he was just wrecking people. But the latest one that they came out with, the third one in the series, they did a lot better job of fixing that and making it be like, no, he just knocked him out. They're okay. They're not actually dead. But the early one, it felt like Batman was just killing all of the thugs, just punching them to death. But yeah, that's a good thing for Spider-Man, and I think that's one of the reasons why people like it. Is because it fits his character. It doesn't feel like you're playing a different Spider-Man. Right.
Very much so. It's a
Cool.
well-made game.
Yeah, that's a good discussion there, and I haven't
Yeah,
played it,
talk to the
but
sun,
I
guys.
will. Black Friday, I'm gonna get it and play it. So it'll be about a month and a half until I can really give an opinion about it. And by that point, I don't think it'll be relevant, but I'm still gonna have to do it anyways because that's important. Because I think I don't know if it will be, but it's definitely in competition to be the game of the year. I don't know exactly how many games are currently in that running, but I know Spider-Man's one of them. Because I haven't kept up with a lot of current games and I haven't played really any of them. I know Spider-Man will be in it, and I'm assuming Call of Duty will be in it just because of what happened over the weekend with the Blackout beta. And then I think there's got to be other games that came out, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of other ones that came out. Did Destiny come out 2018 or is that like Christmas of 2017? And does that count?
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't
I bought it,
remember.
but I don't remember. Same thing with
It's a hard one.
the Assassin's Creed Gladiator or whatever, but I don't know if that came out
That
last
was,
year or
I
not.
think,
I don't remember.
uh,
Yeah.
Origins. Yeah, I feel like it
I
was
know there's a game that
mid,
came out
maybe.
like February or March. I can't remember the name of it, but that one is going to be God of War. That was the other one. That one's the big one. That one and
Oh yeah.
there's another PlayStation exclusive. That's why I don't remember them, is because I don't have a PlayStation, so I can't play them. But all the PlayStation's exclusives, I think, that came out this year will all be in the running for sure. And then what is left? Call of Duty. Uh, well, Fortnite it came out a
Fortnite.
long time ago, but maybe season 6 people will be like, "Oh, that was a great time," but
I'm
it came out
I'm
too late. It
kidding.
can't be the
It's
game of the year this year, but
hmm.
it could still be a top played game of 2018 maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Game of a lifetime.
And then there's the
Oh,
other one, that other game. I just had it in my head before you said Fortnite, and then I forgot it.
my bad. When's the cutoff for that? Is it physically
For
the
what?
calendar year or
Game of the year? Yeah, I'm pretty
game of the
sure
year?
it's, if not Christmas, then right after when they finally put it in. I know it's before New
Okay.
Year's that it's like out, but
So I guess
yeah,
Fallout
Fallout
76
76
could
is one of them.
potentially
The next
be on.
Assassin's Creed, because doesn't Odyssey come out in October sometime?
Yeah,
So those two will, I
yeah.
don't know if they definitely will be, but they are games that are coming out that are AAA titles that a lot of people are talking about. So there's a chance that they'll at least be in
Yeah,
there.
I
And
think
then
so.
there's not an Elder Scrolls coming out this year, but Fallout has one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that's about it on big titles. And there might be some indie developed games that come out of nowhere, but I don't
Yeah.
know any of them that would or if they will. But that'll be something to look at towards November, December time when all those games are out and everybody had about a month or two to play with them. But to segue into the next bit here with Blackout, that beta happened over the weekend. I think it started Monday or Tuesday for PlayStation. I think, because they had the whole week. I think it started on Monday. And then That was on PlayStation, and then it was Friday. It was technically Thursday night for pre-orders, Friday afternoon-ish for open beta for PC. But basically this whole weekend, it's been Call of Duty Blackout on Twitch. And if I am remembering correctly and watching a lot of the pro Call of Duty players and top Fortnite streamers that have played the PC beta, they came to the conclusion that this is the most a Call of Duty has ever had in viewership. It was at 500,000 views, concurrent views at one time, which is, they said, almost 300,000 more people than whatever the MLG tournament in 2013. Whatever the Black Ops 2, one of that biggest tournament, that was like the last time they got that many views. So that's pretty big for the Call of Duty community in general, but it's also just big for a beta for a battle royale. That's not even like, again, there's only, a lot of people are saying there's only been one battle royale. Fortnite was the first one to just fully release and be a battle royale, and then before that it's only been betas, early access, mods because of DayZ, the Arma 2, all that, those mods. But PUBG is fully released now, and then so is H1Z1 on consoles and PC, and that's it for battle royales, right? I think. And then Battlefield 5's working on theirs. Dying Light is building a battle royale, sort of. It's like a battle royale game mode, but it's not like strictly battle royale in the sense of dropping from airplane, fighting each other. I don't know. I just saw update on Steam about it, but there's those ones. So having Call of Duty being a beta and being as good as it was and getting as many views as it did in 1 week is promising. Not necessarily for the competitive community, but it's big for the entertainment and for the battle royale scene. And a lot of the Call of Duty pros are looking forward to it, I think. And if I remember right, it's either tomorrow or Friday that the competitive, whatever it's called, details come out for Black Ops 4 for this upcoming competitive season. I don't know what day that is, but that's big for anybody that watches those and keeps up with the COD community, right? A lot of people are speculating it's 5v5 for competitive, which I know, Alex, you don't really care that much about the competitive scene, but it's big news for them. And in general for not necessarily just Call of Duty, but for the Twitch community, because a lot of the pro streamers are like, it's a good game. The Blackout, they're like, it's a good game, and we'll probably play it. So that's more eyes for the Call of Duty game itself, but also it's still going to be in entertainment. It's not just going to be a one-off thing that happened this weekend. But
so, how was the game
for Blackout? If you're talking just on the console, day one on Monday for PlayStation 4, everybody was blown away. Like, they did not expect it to be solid 1080p, 60 frames per second, no lag whatsoever. Like, period. Like, it was fluid since the beginning, since the first day. They hot patched the next day to fix drop rates and increase server size. And then it wasn't until Friday when everybody jumped on the servers that they updated to 88 players on one game. And that's when people noticed a little bit of stuttering towards the beginning, loading everybody in at once. But then after that, it was solid. So from that standpoint of a server building, which is the first time Call of Duty's ever done that, that's pretty big. And for the most part, I didn't notice like bullets not registering or fluke things happening other than the armor, which a lot of people are talking about the armor. It's a little overpowered.
So there's armor. Like,
yeah, level 1 and level 2 spawn, like in PUBG, how you can pick up armor, level 1 and 2 spawn. They're pretty random, and I think they increased the rarity of both of them. But level 3, they changed it to only show up in drops. So it's only in the supply drops that drop. And then level 2 are really rare. But the only issue is the game already Call of Duty Black Ops 4, they changed the health to be 150 instead of 100. So that's the first time that's changed. So that's already a new mechanic that a lot of people had to get used to, is shooting more bullets at people because everybody has more health by default. And then armor basically added, level 1 added 50 more health, and then level 2 added 100, and then level 3 added 200, if I remember the base increase. So that was the biggest thing on Wednesday for PlayStation. People are like, wow, this is just really overpowered. When people have level 3 armor at the end game, you got to hit them with 15 bullets minimum,
Wow, yeah.
3 sniper bullets, even to the head, to kill somebody. With the most powerful sniper, you had to do 3 shots. So not having level 3 armor and being as rare it was like a crutch for endgame. And I was watching Nadeshot stream on, I think it was Thursday. He was on PlayStation that night, and he was playing, and he had level 3 armor, and then the trauma kit, which is like the max healing, will actually heal you to 200 no matter what health point you're at. So if you're at like 1 HP and you use trauma kit, you're up to 200 automatically. Like it takes like 3 seconds to like tick up, but you get 200 health from that, and then you have level 3 armor, which is 200-ish, 150 more health if you get hit in the body anywhere but the head, because it doesn't protect your head for some reason. But that he got hit by a sniper bullet just out of nowhere. It was a 1v1 situation. He had 4 HP after having level 3 armor and 200 health with his trauma kit, and he had 4 health. Survived that shot, was able to see where the guy was at, healed up with another trauma kit, and then just jumped out at the guy and just blasted him because the other guy didn't have any armor and he had basically 400 health. So he even was saying that was overpowered and wasn't fair at all, that he literally should have been dead when he got sniped. Like, that guy outplayed him 100%. He definitely should have lost that game. And then he's like, since I had level 3 armor and I had 200 health, I got hit in the head with the strongest sniper in the game, and I still survived. I had 4 HP. And his armor wasn't touched at all. Like, it wasn't broken, nothing, because it doesn't affect your head. So that was purely his 200 health that saved him. So then he was still able to jump out at the guy and rush him because he had that body armor to protect him. So that was a pretty insane encounter that is clutch, I guess you could say, but it also is, it sucks for the guy that lost because he definitely outplayed Nadeshot there, and in everybody's opinion, Nadeshot should have lost that one. So that was the biggest issue for this beta, was the armor. A lot of people are saying you have level 1 spawns very rare, like very rare, maybe 1 or 2 per location, and then you might maybe find it in a random house. But you get rid of level 3 completely, and you put level 2 in supply crates. And then that way it's still in the game, and it still allows you to have that protection and have that advantage, but not so much where it takes 15 bullets to kill somebody when it's a 1v1 situation. And then you just don't have armor because you couldn't find any, or yours ran out in the last gunfight. So I think that would be the best fix. But overall, the beta went very well and did a very good job. And I think Treyarch did a good job. David Vonderhaar nailed it with that beta and Blackout in general. So that comes out October 12th is when all of that comes out and is available for everybody to play.
You have to have the
for the beta you had to pre-order the beta in order to play it for PlayStation on Monday, and then throughout the week top streamers were given codes to give to people that they could redeem for their Call of Duty accounts, and then they can link it to PC, Xbox, or PlayStation depending on which console they played on, and then they could join. If it was for PlayStation, they could just log in that key and then play on PlayStation even though they didn't have the game pre-ordered. But on Friday was when the PC open beta started. It was Friday to Monday evening. Was anybody on PC could play it. You could just go onto the Battle.net launcher and download it and play it, which I did for a couple hours. It was a good time. But
so it's not like a standalone. It comes with Blackout.
I don't know that for sure. I don't know if they're going to do a free-to-play because there is a separate download for the private beta. And previously when they did for Infinity War, I think it was, they had a beta for that one, which is really weird. That was the first time they did that. But for that one, they had a beta, and that was you just had to pre-order the game, and then it would install all of the files, and then you could play the beta off of the game file. But for this one, they had a separate private beta you had to download from, at least from the Xbox store. I'm assuming you could do the same thing from the PSN store, and on PC, there was just you just clicked on, in the BattleNet, there was a section that said play private beta, and you clicked on that and downloaded that. So it was a separate download, separate from the game. So I'm assuming that they're going to release it. I don't know if it's free or how they're going to do that or what they're going to do with it, but they haven't talked about it yet, and they might say something about it in their whatever they're talking about. Thank you for talking to me, Siri. That's all right. But
yeah. If it becomes standalone, I might buy it. Like I mean, Fortnite's a well put together game. I didn't buy PUBG.
Yeah,
thanks for that.
It was a fun game while it lasted. I just think that it got old, and they didn't fix enough of it to keep people engaged.
Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, like Fortnite it's not going to last forever, but the way that they're trying to evolve it is, it's making it last longer than
right.
It would otherwise. And then definitely, if Blackout standalone, as long as it's not like $50.
Yeah, the game right now is $60 for pre-order. And all of the pre-orders and all of the different editions, you can get Blackout automatically. So I think that they will release it, but I don't know. I don't have insider information on that, but I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
And then they've also said that they're going to add customization for the characters in Blackout. So they didn't say anything about microtransactions or loot boxes or anything like that. So I don't know if they will release it for free, then have microtransactions. If you want to buy stuff, you can. I don't know about that yet, but I'm sure they'll say something about it eventually.
Heck, if they were to buy Black Ops 4 and then hey, you get it with it, or if it's standalone,
right.
It's $15. Like I feel like they'd make a decent amount of money with that. Anyway.
I think you could sell it for $5 to $10 for that. It's still cheaper than PUBG and H1Z1. H1Z1's $15 on PlayStation and on PC. Well, it's free on both now, but back when you had to pay for it. And then PUBG's $30 still on PC, and I think it's $30 on Xbox. And then Fortnite's free, so you can't beat that. And then having microtransactions, it's required for free-to-play games. Unfortunately, that's how they make their money. But I mean, for Blackout, you're right. They don't have to because they have Black Ops 4 to fill that gap. And I don't know if that necessarily would make them enough money, but at least they could. I think that they could sell it for at least $5. If they didn't want to put it out for free, they could do $5, and I think everybody would still buy it.
Yeah. Honestly, like if it's as good
insane.
As you said it was.
And on PC, they're capping for 90 frames, at least for the beta they did. I'm assuming it'll be 120 frames, or probably if they have a cap on PC, that'll be what it is until they get that figured out, because it's the first time Call of Duty's actually been good on PC. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. That's for sure. And I don't know what they plan to do with it, but it looked dope, and I enjoyed the couple hours of solos that I played. So, and I'm not a huge fan of playing solo battle royale either. But Call of Duty is my game, and it was dope. Like you go into the different areas are actual maps from Black Ops games. So like there's firing range, there's raid, there's stronghold, array, and I don't remember. There's another popular one, but the Black Ops 3 snow map. Frontier, maybe? I don't know what it was. I can't remember what it's called. But there was those maps. There was the raid was legitimately the raid map. They just plopped it down in the hillside, and then it put up the walls like normal, but you can climb over them because there's a little bit higher jump height, and you can mantle things, so you could jump out of the map and go other places. But they did a really good job with the fluidity of transferring between the maps. Because you're in firing range, and if you're there inside one of the buildings or right by the doors, you feel like you're in that map in multiplayer from Black Ops 2. It doesn't feel like you're playing an open world giant map. It feels like you're there inside that, and everything else is just background. However, you can still be shot from all those locations, but it kind of you feel like you're on that stage. And then whenever you climb out, it's that felt weird and awesome at the same time. It didn't feel like it was wrong to jump out of the map. So they did a good job of being like, this is the maps and this is what they look like, but they also added more buildings and other unique things to make it be like, this is also a separate game. So don't get sucked into being in firing range. Because all of the zones had stuff, but then they also added slight extensions or they filled out around it. So there was similar buildings and they were in the same spots, but the doors made it feel like it was different, and having different placements around the outside changed it.
So how is it structured map wise? Like you said, you were talking about different maps. Like are they just like they took the maps from different games and like made them bigger, or did they just like add onto those maps and put a bunch of them?
Yeah, that's
in
what they
one
did.
larger
Like
map?
they took the art style and they took the
Okay.
rendering of I'm trying to think of what Black Ops map do you remember? Do you remember firing range? Like the big sniper tower that's right there in the middle? That has the little ladder that you climb up and you can kind of see the entire area from it. Yeah, so they took
Yes.
that model, they picked it up, and then they just plopped it in the center of their giant map that they made, and then that's there. So that's completely exactly the same it was from the Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 map. The exact same thing, maybe newly textured to fit the art style of Black Ops 4, but it's the exact same thing. And then they added the other buildings around it and then made the lanes the exact same size. Everything's to exact same scale. So like you're not like in a miniature version of everything. It's the exact same scale of all of the different maps, at least the central areas of the map. Some of the lanes are gone on the sides because they didn't need those there. But the basic center of every map is just put in different areas on this one giant map. And then you can just climb out of it and go to the next area. And then the in-between stages felt very similar to PUBG, how like the hillsides of that map, they felt very similar to, there's hills, there's trees, there's bushes, kind of long grass, but it wasn't difficult to see other people. Like people didn't just blend in. There was no full camouflage, but they did a really good job with the transferring between locations. It didn't feel like you were playing on a massive map, but at the same time it didn't feel like you were playing in a tiny little 5x5 square with 88 other people. And then they added helicopters, which I didn't jump in one because I didn't trust myself to fly one. But a lot of people were saying that it felt very, very good. Like it didn't feel like you were playing Battlefield. It didn't feel like you were playing a flight simulator. It felt like you were literally getting in a stealth chopper from Black Ops 2 Score Streak, and then you're just flying it around instead of just being a gunner on it. You were the main pilot. But it didn't feel wrong or broken. Like it felt like, yeah, this has just been a part of the game since the beginning, and we just never had the chance to play it, kind of thing. So a lot of people are pretty excited about it and having the vehicles in general, which I thought was unique. And you don't need them. That was the other thing that I noticed. A lot of people, you didn't need it. You didn't need to get in a vehicle to go to the safe zone, which was really cool.
That yeah. Like in PUBG.
Yeah, like the map was too big, which I was surprised that they had so many maps, full-size maps that they just threw into the big giant stage, and then you still felt like you could get anywhere on foot, which was crazy. And there's no speed increases, there's nothing to boost your speed. So it was pretty cool. For sure. It's a fun experience.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'll play it in the future over multiplayer, but it's still a fun feature, I guess. But I was impressed.
I mean,
and then they also added zombies, which I was surprised. There is 2 or 3 zombie maps. That was the other ones that I didn't mention, is the zombie main buildings in a couple different places. I don't know. There's a graveyard one, and there's another location. I'd never played any of the zombies, so I have no idea what they're called or whatever, but that's where the zombies would spawn, and then there would be the crates, like the loot crates that would randomly generate a gun. Those were there, and then zombies would migrate to that thing, and you get like the ray gun and a few different other zombie specific stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. The ray gun's kind of garbage, so they'll probably buff it, but it was pretty lame in the beta. Like it didn't do a whole lot of damage. It killed zombies really easily, but it wasn't that great against other people with level 3 armor and 200 health. But it was still really cool that they added zombies without having zombies be everywhere. Like, they were strictly the zombie locations was where zombies spawned. It was pretty cool. And then it just added a separate element to the game. But I was surprised by it, and I highly rate it as both a beta and a soon-to-be full release game when it comes out.
Well, I'll probably look into that and see if I want to get all of it.
It's a good idea. For sure. But yeah, I probably won't buy it on PlayStation when I get one because I already have an Xbox. But if there's a potential that enough people will play it on PC, then I'll probably buy it on there as well and play Blackout. I don't think I'll play multiplayer on there, so if Blackout's for free on PC, then I'll get it. But at the moment, I don't have it bought on PC because I'm waiting to see if it's a standalone thing or not before I buy it. Because I know a lot of people would, a lot of the people that we hang out with, they play PC more than Xbox. But I have it for Xbox because that's where I play Call of Duty. So
yeah, understandable. I honestly won't be buying a lot of games for PlayStation because how we did it was Jason basically bought it, but he got he borrowed $100 from me, and I bought like one game, and maybe Black Friday, if they're cheap enough, I'll just go ahead and hash it out, get one, that's worth it. But as of right now, I don't plan on getting one. I'm more likely to buy stuff.
That makes sense. I enjoy PC way more. And it's easier to connect with people. There's just more ways to play games with people, and you can play pretty much every game on PC, so I understand that.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, you just plug in an Xbox controller, and then you're basically playing a better looking Xbox game. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, I really like that feature. That's awesome.
I think it'll be good. That comes October 12th. I think that's when everybody gets it. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's just a PlayStation exclusive drop. I'm hoping that it's for everybody because Activision made a deal with PlayStation that all the DLC and all the updates come out a month early on PlayStation than they do PC or Xbox. But I'm hoping full release is the same day for everybody. One, because I want to play it as soon as possible. I don't want to have to wait a month after October 12th to play it. But
it does suck that PlayStation's like against.
Yeah, that's lame. And a lot of people aren't very happy with it. Even game companies, like obviously Bethesda's very against PlayStation. So much so that there was rumors that they were going to pull it from the PlayStation Store just so they could have cross-platform on Xbox and PC. I think that was a rumor that went around. They wanted to get rid of it. They're just like, you know what? If you don't want to play nice, then we'll just not put it on your console so that we can still have cross-play between the people that want to do it. Which I think is a good idea. Yeah. I think Fortnite's the only game that cross-platforms, right? Not on Xbox.
You can't.
Not on Xbox, but PC and PlayStation are cross-platform. And that's the only game that does that. At least PlayStation to PC.
I think.
But a lot of PC to Xbox, which makes sense because Microsoft owns Windows and the Xbox people, so it makes sense that they should. But
people are less likely probably to buy it on the PlayStation if you can play anywhere, with all your friends. But the thing is, it opens up doors that people that you have owning PlayStation, they'll buy a game that their friends who have Xbox are going to play on. It's kind of it's give and take. And if you're like, we're the best console,
then you should be doing everything for the fans at that point to prove that you're the best console.
Yeah. Like if you know that you're gonna have no problem selling your stuff, then why are you holding back?
It only hurts them by not being cross-platform.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it helps Xbox more than it helps PlayStation to be cross-platform, I think. So I don't know if that's the main reason why. But then you got on the Switch, their Minecraft and their other games that they have are cross-platform with Xbox and PC. So I don't know what they're doing there with PlayStation. It's like everybody else is doing it. So just not necessarily jump on the bandwagon, but just suck it up and be like, okay, this is the way gaming is going. We got to keep up with it. Don't fight it. At this point, it's too late to fight it. I understand 2 or 3 years ago when Minecraft first came out, and they're like, hey, we should make it cross-platform for everybody because that's possible, and that's a new technology that we're working on, so we should do it. And PlayStation's like, we don't know if we trust that. We don't know if it's actually going to happen or not, so we'll just let Mojang and do their thing with Xbox and PC, and we'll just see what happens, which I understand that because that was when it was first happening. But now at this point, they're just sticking to their guns of, no, we don't want to be friends with Xbox users. And a lot of people are like, that doesn't make any sense. And all the PC players are like, okay, we don't care if we play with PlayStation kids because console is garbage and we're just better anyways. But if we have a younger cousin that has Minecraft on Xbox and they want to play with us, we can play on our PC. But if they have a PlayStation, we can't. So then that gives you incentive to have an Xbox because then I can play with other people. I have more people to play with. So PlayStation's still stuck on the single player. Not that it's a bad thing, because they make single player games really well, as can be seen by the 4 they've released this year that are all top on that list, like we said earlier. They're number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 on that list. That's just which game company built the game better. So not knocking their ability to have and make good games that are single player. It's just the fact that they're not opening to more of an audience. Not that I necessarily care because I already have a PC and an Xbox, so I can already play with friends on either one of those if I wanted to. So then I'm just going to buy a PlayStation 4 to play Spider-Man or God of War, and then that'll be the only reason why I own one. And it won't be my primary use console or gaming system because I can't connect with other people. So that's the only thing they have going against them is all the people that have all of the consoles, that is their least used. But if it's the only console you have, you're not going to switch to the other ones. So they stick too much to their current users and not trying to branch out enough, I think.
Yeah. And what kind of pushed me to help Jason get the PS4, like, because I got a girlfriend, so then I was like, well, I don't want to really funnel my money into something I'm not going to be doing all the time, which I'm not playing as much games. But I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy. For those of you that, we haven't talked about that at all, maybe much.
No, we didn't talk about it at all if we haven't yet, but that's a big topic that I enjoy the story of that. We don't have enough time to really go into it. And I'm looking into buying them, but I'll talk to you after about which ones I should buy, and if it really matters how I buy them. But that's a topic I want to talk about eventually because that's pretty deep, especially with Jacob's love of lore. I know you have a lot of that for Final Fantasy, so I just need to play it some more, at least read into it, look into it to help support that conversation because I think it is dope. I just haven't got into it because I don't know where to start. So. Because I'm a person that personally I think that you should start from the beginning of a series or season or gaming group of games, and you play the first one, and then you play all the ones after that. Even if they don't necessarily tie in properly or with each other, I feel like that's the way you should do it. Like with the Star Wars movies, you're supposed to watch it 6 or is it it's 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, and 3, 7, 8, 9, and then if they come out with 10. And then you can watch Rogue One whenever it came out and the Han Solo movie whenever it came out. It doesn't matter when you watch them. But you're supposed to watch them in that order because that's how they set up the story. However, the numbers go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 because that's how the universe expanded properly. But for the true storyline and how they built the story, you need to watch it 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Which I don't know if that's the same thing with Final Fantasy because there's a lot of them and there's a few of them that aren't numbered but are in a certain order that you're supposed to play them in. And I know a few of them go forward and backwards in timelines, and some of them aren't directly in line with the previous game, but they're kind of part of the same storyline if I know correctly. But I don't I don't know, enough.
Like the first 9 are like standalone games. Like they don't pertain as far as I think.
They're
There's
kind
a
of
couple in
built
there that
in
may
the same
reference each other.
universe.
I
Like they
haven't
have the
played all.
same laws, and that's about it. Like this is a rule that's set, so you follow it. This is the lore in the world, but it's not. You don't have to play 1 and then 2 to understand what's happening in 2. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They all like follow the same game mechanics somewhat, but then as it goes on, 7's a good one. I have
Right.
not had the pleasure of playing yet, which I need.
Mm-hmm.
I started out with 12 for the PlayStation 2, and then I got 10, and I enjoyed that one. 10, actually, it was the first one was like a official sequel, 10-2, which was 11, and like that was them branching out, and then after that, 12 was amazing, heavy lore, like there's a huge storyline. It's just tons of like cutscenes and little things. It's not like, oh, here's this long 5-minute cutscene. No, there's like little parts where there's like 20, 10, 15, 20, 30,
Right.
30-second cutscenes that just adds on to each story. And then 13, like as you go on, the world kind of get bigger. And now they have 15 where they tried, I don't really think very well, but they tried to make it more of bigger by updating the game itself, which is, with the new generations of consoles,
Right.
you're able to add to the game. So like they improved parts of the game. People were like, "Oh, I didn't really like this." So, they added this as like a separate chapter that you can go and play and it'll add to the story, and then they started like adding mobile games and stuff. Like it gives you more in-depth on the characters, but I think it's too spread out. Like if you're a diehard console fan or like, you want to play this game, like console or PC, you're not going to want to go and play
Right.
like 6
To
mobile
fill
games
in the gaps.
to find out
Gotcha.
what's the story.
But they're there if
Yeah.
you want to. Okay. Because the only Final Fantasy
Yeah.
I played is Final Fantasy Tactics on the Game Boy Advanced. That's the only one that I've ever played, and I enjoyed that style of. I don't know if what do you call it? What is the word for it? It's turn-based.
Spin-off?
I think it's a turn-based,
Okay.
not necessarily RPG. That one was more linear story. It's more of just a turn-based action. You're kind of following the story. But is it 15 the one that's RPG heavy? Is it the newest one that a lot of people are talking about? Because I know it is an RPG, but I don't know how deep it is. But I know that one's the one a lot of people are saying is
Actually,
the most RPG of them.
I'm thinking 12.
Okay.
And
So there
15.
are ones that are linear, heavy, you're just following a story, and then more of them are like, hey, you're free to do stuff. And here's a character with a backstory that
12
you're playing as, but do whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah, that was 12 because you start with like this one character that it builds, but then you have the freedom to basically, even in like the most dire parts of the story, like there's very few times where you can just where you're not allowed to do anything else. But in 13, they kind of went back to the turn-based, like it used to be, but they cut everything else down, kind of. Like they still had a decent magic system, which 12 had like 6 different kinds of things, like magics, and it was amazing. But then 13, they give you this map, and it's basically like a hallway. And there's like a later on point where it's just a big map, like a big blob, and you can walk around it. Like that's your open world. Like, but then 15 gives you like an entire country, landscape to just do whatever the heck you want. And like the magic system is, I'm not a fan of it, but it's definitely like a step up from what they wanted to do, what they did with 12. I think magic is the only thing that suffered, and they did really well with like the game itself, I think.
So yeah, that'll be something we'll talk about a lot more once I play it and get into it, because I want to. I just don't have time, or really the knowledge of where to start. That's the main reason why I haven't yet, is because I don't know where to start. So, but I'll probably start with one of the newer ones. I don't know if I own any of them. I'll have to look, because I have a lot of games in my Steam library that I could own from the random Final Fantasies. So I'll have to look to see, and I'll just go from there. But it's a good time. It's a good podcast. You ready to wrap it up and move on to your homework, or? All right.
Yeah,
So yeah,
probably.
that was a good time. We'll be back next week Next Wednesday is when this upload will be tomorrow when we recorded this. This will be up on Wednesday. We're trying to make it every Wednesday. I don't know if I said this last podcast or if I decided after we recorded it, but I want to have it on Wednesday. I don't know exactly what exact time I want to put it. I just uploaded the last one on noon because I forgot to schedule it the night before for a certain time. So then I was like, oh crap, I should do this. So before I went to school, I set it to render, and then I went, and after I set it to render, and then once it was done, to privately publish it, and then I got on my phone in between classes, and then I published it, which was at like noon. So that's why it came up at noon, is because that's when I remembered to do it. So, and that's why I didn't really have a thumbnail and didn't have a lot in the description. I added more later, so it should be fine now, and the end cards and all that stuff should be in there. So for the first day, people watching it, which I don't think anybody's watched it fully yet, but it didn't have all of the things in it. But I'm planning on Wednesdays. I don't know exactly what times it'll be up. It'll probably be up between noon and like 7 o'clock at night. Somewhere in that time period is the best time that it'll be up. But if you got post notifications on my YouTube channel, you'll see it when it comes up, which of the 37 subscribers, I don't think anybody does. Maybe 2 or 3 people. But that's the plan. Jacob should be back next week. He's just working on internet issues. And myself and Alex will be here as well, hopefully. We shouldn't have any issues. Yeah, we have 10 views right now, yeah. I think my total watch time in the last month is at 66 or 67, which it was down to like 25 before I uploaded the video. So it's doing good. We got one like, it's on average with all of my other videos. However, its watch time per amount of time that's actually a part of the video is this lowest, if you look at that percent, but it's also one of my most longest viewed videos because it is 1 hour and 40 minutes. So it's pretty hard to beat. If somebody watches 1 hour 40 minutes, that's going to be pretty high on the list of all of my other videos are 30 minutes or less. So it's already twice as long as every other video I have, 3 times as long. But yeah, hopefully this goes well and I can get it on Spotify and a few other places and get some more exposure and new audiences and stuff. Or if we decide to put it on a separate channel, if it gets bigger than my channel, then I fully will support the making of a new channel so that the 3 of us can all be owners and curators and all that stuff of it. It doesn't have to just be for my channel and for my benefit only if we monetize it and we actually make like good money off it or whatever. So I don't know. The plan is to not necessarily, this isn't like something I'm trying to make monetized, but right now I'm just using it to help me get to monetization. Yeah, and it gives us time to talk as friends, and it's enjoyable, I think. And hopefully other people enjoy it too, because scheduling this allows us to talk and become friends and be closer. And then it also, I wouldn't necessarily say forces us to talk, but it helps us be like, oh yeah, we should talk to our friends more. So
it kind of helps us with a direction. Honestly, like I used to talk to everyone. There was probably like 20 people from back home that I talked to, along with you know the not hundreds, like the 10 people here. And then like I drew myself so thin last year that like, and then I got into like a pretty bad place. I just kind of cut myself off. And then like I've been focusing on school, and I spend a lot of time with Ashton now that I don't really get to talk to people.
Yeah, it gives us a good reason to talk. And then if we're already going to do it, we might as well build a podcast format and gives us topics to talk about and nerd out basically. But yeah, that'll be it. I don't know exactly how long. It was roughly 45 minutes, almost an hour. I don't know. I didn't have a clock set, but it was good discussions. 3 or 4 topics came up. Didn't really talk about Assassin's Creed that much, so that's a positive, I guess. Because we talked about that for almost 30 minutes, if I remember right. Almost a third of the video was that, from when I was editing it. But cool. It was cool. This one's better. Next week, I don't know what the big things that'll be coming out. Maybe the Call of Duty announcements. I think more details on the Battlefield 5 Royale is happening this coming week. If we record this like we have recorded this one, which will be next Tuesday, most of that stuff will already be in the news and a lot of people will know about it. But there'll be hopefully some things to talk about, some new things. But even if not, I'm sure we can talk about Skyrim or Final Fantasy or something else random like that from years ago again. But should be something new in the news. I don't know. There's not a lot of things that I've been keeping tabs on. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still haven't thought of a name, so I don't know what this video is going to be called. But we'll think of a name. If anybody has a good name of the three of us that we decided, and we ended up posting it before I release this video tomorrow, then that'll be what it's named, and it'll be probably number 2. But if not, it'll just be like podcast number 2. It'd be really lame. And then I'll retro name or retronym. Is that the word for it? I'll retronym for something. That's not really a name. I'm gonna change the name when we decide what it is. So I'll go back to all the podcasts and I'll rename the titles and give them numbers so that we have an order. But yeah, it's a good time. Thanks for cutting out an hour of your time, Alex, out of your homework and your busy schedule. And I'll see you for sure next week. But hopefully sooner than then, or at least we could discuss our podcast name before that. But yeah, see ya. Enjoy your day. Everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow when I upload this video. So with that being said, we don't have an outro. We don't really have any clue of what this structure is yet, but this is the outro and we're leaving now. So goodbye. See you, everybody. Goodbye.